Hey everybody, Will Gully with Recruiting Lounge here, and I wanted to take a moment to talk to you a little bit about youth sports and specifically about the interaction between parents and coaches on select and AAU programs. There is such a thing as an elite youth athlete. Don't get it confused. There is such a thing as elite youth athletes. I've had the pleasure and opportunity to be around sports all my life, and now that I have kids, they are similarly following in the footsteps of me and my wife. And what we've found is that in some places around the United States, there are really rec programs. The rec programs maybe run through the community center or through the YMCA, and every place is different, but relatively very simple instruction. You have a lot, it's volunteer coaches, the dads are volunteering, and they may or may not have a background in the sport that they're teaching or they're coaching, but their hearts are in the right place. They want to create environments where the kids feel loved, where they feel valued, and where they feel like they can belong. You're trying to learn some social skills, teach some social skills, and you really just want to make sure that the kids are having fun, right? And that's important. Regardless of what level or how elite your young athlete is, having fun is the most important thing when you're playing a game as a young athlete, right? So there's that piece of the puzzle. One step above that might be things like Little League, right? Little League is I was also volunteer coaches, dads volunteers, but most of the time those dads have some sort of background in the sport they're playing, and Little League actually provides resources and tools to help volunteer dads coach. They even have practice plans developed so that the coaches don't have to worry about what they're going to do at practice. And so there's that middle tier where it's a community thing. It's around the town. We want to make sure that the students that are in the specific schools are a part of this one program, and so they can build those relationships, build those friendships and connections. So they when they go back to school, they are involved, but they're in communication. They're in relationship with kids that they're going to see on a regular basis. Super important, right? But there's that middle tier. The third tier is the AAU, the select, the travel, those sorts of organizations. Those organizations are those in which we are paying, parents are paying to have certain services, coaching clinics. We're paying the salaries of the coaches that our kids have. We're paying facility rentals for the practices that they're having. So all those things are being paid for, right? So there's a couple pieces of this puzzle that's unique. Is one, the objective of the paid programs, while yes, it's still to have fun, still to create some bonding and social experiences, it is to win. I'll say that again. The objective, and if it's not stated, it is definitely implied that the objective is to win games, right? And so, what does that look like in the midst of trying to create an atmosphere of fun and socialization and development of skills and development of better people, okay? Now, in many of these situations, the parents may or may not know as much as the coaches of the team does, right? I have a son, so I played college basketball. My wife did volleyball. We obviously grew up playing a number of different sports. My son, my oldest son is really big into baseball. My youngest son is really big into soccer. Those are two sports that we didn't really have the highest, as parents, we don't have the highest knowledge of information and education and tools to be able to teach and coach our kids ourselves. So we are intentional about paying and providing those sorts of resources. I'll never forget coaching my son's youth, t-ball and coach pitch teams, and thinking, oh my goodness gracious, I do not know enough about this sport to be able to teach fundamentals effectively. I'm telling him to just swing harder, right? Not telling him anything about form or any of that stuff. Now, you get me on the basketball court, that's square one. Square one is, hey, we're going to learn the basics. We're going to learn triple threat. We're gonna learn the proper gooseneck shooting form, or hands in cookie jar, whatever that is. We're gonna learn how to dribble. We're gonna learn how to pass. We're gonna learn how to run. Like, we're gonna learn defensive sets. We're gonna learn how to move our feet. Like, those are the things that I'm teaching as a basketball court. On the baseball, I'm like, I only know like movement. I can teach movement, agility. I can teach those things, but when it comes to like, hey, what's the proper footwork to like for an infielder to gather themselves and throw the ball? How do you run up on the ball, grab it, and throw it off balance? Like, how do you? I can't teach some of the fundamentals that are involved in that, and so that's in many situations the parents are paying because they know that their kids are very interested and have high attention levels and high focus and high goals relative to these sports, and so they pay for these things, and those are creating elite youth athletes. When you pay for things, you're invested in and you're trying to provide opportunities for your kids to become elite at what they're doing. Now, here's the challenge with the elite level coaches, with the mid-level coaches, with the youth level, with rec level coaches. The challenge for parents, that is. Okay, a parent's goal, and I think everyone would agree with this, a parent's goal is to have their son or their daughter, their child, have a great opportunity, right? You want to provide opportunities for your kids to grow in a number of different ways, right? We all want the best for our kids. And so how do you communicate to the coaches at these various levels when you are wanting your kid to have certain experiences? That's the tough part, okay? So I'm going to give 3 tips really quick of how to communicate to the coaches, regardless of level. 3 tips. Okay, 1, it is about the team. It's not about your kid. It's not about the coach. It's about the team. All right, so what does that look like? It looks like, hey, coach, can I talk to you for a second? I'm trying to understand the team dynamics and how my child kind of fits into the team approach. Can you help me understand that so that I can be a better communicator at home when they are asking questions about it, right? So, hey, it's team first. It's not about your kid, right? Second thing, you want to create an environment where there's collaboration both ways, okay? And so how do you do that? First, you've got to figure out what the coaches are telling your son or your daughter. Okay? So, hey, coach, I've seen a couple things in the games, and I want to make sure that we're kind of synced up and on the same page with my child's development, with how much they're having fun, and with their skills and their listening here. So I think it'd be really good for us to maybe be a part of the post-game or pre-game conversations. That way we can hear what you're talking about. And if we can hear exactly what you're communicating to the kids, then we are empowered as parents to go back and make sure we reiterate those things at home, if they come up at all, or if we choose to talk about them, right? So it's a collaboration. So communication is the first and foremost. It's about the team. Communication is the overarching thing. But 1, it's about the team. 2, it's about collaboration. All right. And 3, when you get to the elite level, and as you continue going up, competition gets harder, right? It doesn't get easier. It gets harder. The position that your kid was playing as a 11-year-old may not be the position that they're going to play next year, right? Kids are going to grow and develop at different stages of life. Sometimes the kids will 12 whatever for boys, 12, 13, the boys sprout up, they start growing muscles and facial hair, right? On the girls, they spring up faster than that, right? They can be tall as all get out, and so things kids are going to change, their bodies are going to change, how they work, how they feel about their body is going to change all the time, right? So the reality is that when your kid gets growing, and they're going to grow at different paces, and so some kids on your kid's same age level are going to be up here in their development. And your kid might be here. And that's going to change the position and the role that they have on the team. It's just going to change. It's going to get harder for them to stay at their same spot, for staying in the same position, playing time, all that kind of stuff. You are paying the coaches to make those coaching decisions about playing time, about position. You're paying them to do that. Just remember that. Second thing to remember is their goal is to win games. If it's not written down, that is the goal. Believe it or not, that's the goal, to win games. All right? So if your development is changing, with that goal is to win games is still the same, that's going to mean some shifts are going to happen, right? Parents, don't talk to the coaches about playing time and positions. Don't do that. Here's how the conversation goes. Hey, coach, I've noticed that you've got, my child moving and shifting from last year to this year. I'm not going to get into that. I want to make sure that I'm able to communicate effectively to my child when they ask me about what they're doing or positions, or when they're frustrated about playing time. I want to kind of be on the same page as you are. So help me understand that. Okay, that's what you do with the coaches. That help me understand it, all because you want to improve how you want to make sure that your child is developing great habits, right? And they have mindsets that are geared toward what's best for the team. All right? So that's what you do. And the coach will say, hey, thanks for coming. Generally, a good coach will say, hey, thanks for coming and asking me about it. I appreciate it. We've got plans for this person. The shift in the da-da-da-da is because of this, because of that. And we want to make sure that we've got a plan in place for your child, and that plan will come to fruition, and I promise you will see the results. We're going to make sure that they have the opportunity to showcase what they're doing, to try and achieve the success they see for themselves. We're going to provide opportunities for them to work hard. I need him or her to focus better. I need him or her to be better at practice. I need him or her to be someone that's more passionate. I need him or her to be someone that's more like working at home. There could be a number of different things, right, that the coach will say, but they're going to be tangible things that you can go to tell your child should they have questions. Now, that's what you do with the coach, all right? Second thing, if your kid is upset about playing and what position they're saying, that's an opportunity for growth for your child. How do you communicate to your child in order to advocate for themselves? So, the child comes up and says, hey, mom, dad, I'm not happy. I'm not playing the position I want to be playing. I don't know what's going on. I'm not playing very much. They got me doing this. They got me doing that. Your response as a parent is, hey, I'm not going to talk to your coach about playing time and position. You can go talk to your coach about playing time and position. And this is how you say it. Hey, coach, I know that that things are shifting and we've got a different team's approach, which is great. We got great players on the team. I want the team to be successful, and I feel like our team will be most successful with me playing in this position. This is something that I've done. I've got a proven track record of being successful at that spot, and I'd like an opportunity to show that I can play this position at this level. It's about the team and about the team success. All right? And don't miss this part. When your child goes and talks to your coach, that's a huge, huge, huge growth moment. Your child for the rest of their life is gonna have someone above them that's going to be hard to talk to, hard to advocate with, right? On your behalf. It's going to be hard, right? And if you want your child to develop into someone that's an adult that can speak up for themselves and advocate for themselves, that's what you're going to do. You're not going to go say, hey, you know what, I'm going to go talk to the coach. Don't you worry about it. You don't go to the coach and say, coach, you're wrong. My child is the best outside hitter on the team. Like, what are you doing? You don't go to the coach and say, hey, coach, what are you doing? Sally is a phenomenal freestyle swimmer, and you have her doing backstroke? What are you talking about? You don't do that. I've been in positions where parents have come down immediately after the game with other parents around, not ask me to pull me aside and just say, have a one-on-one conversation, but in the midst of everything say, hey, like, you're sitting my son on the bench during the basketball game. Like, do you know how much training and how much work that he puts in? Like, this is not okay. Like, you've got to figure out a way to get him in the game and so on and so forth. I'm talking about high school basketball after a game, in a game that we've won. Right? My response is not like, hey, I care for your child. At the end of the day, we're trying to win games, and that's what we did. Everyone gets in the game. We won. Enough said. That's at high school. At youth levels, that's an opportunity for you. It's the at the youth level, the risks are so much less for a child to go and talk to their coach and advocate for themselves. Right? The coach wants the best interest. You wouldn't put your kid in the program if you didn't think the coach is one of the best things for your kids. Now, I will say this. After you have that conversation with your child, what I would recommend is calling up the coaches so that they can prepare and say, hey, coach, you know, Tony isn't happy about certain things, and I encourage him to go speak with you about it. I'm not going to speak with you about it, but I want you to be prepared for the next time you see them, so that you know, like, hey, this is coming, and you can prepare and have things on your mind to say, right? To make it a good experience for your child, because you want them to grow up and be people that advocate for themselves. All right. I've talked way too long about this conversation, but it's a major one, and we see it nationwide. And what happens when what happens when those things are challenged? Like kids are talented at different levels. They develop at different times. All right, the most talented kids might think that it's easy. I mean, in basketball, growing up, it's like the tall kid. They got all the hoops. They got all the baskets. They got all the points. Right? The shorter kids had to work a little bit harder to get it. Okay? In every sport, there's something like that where it's like, oh, man, these people are just blessed and gifted, and they've got all the talent and height and strength and all that kind of stuff. They just get it. There's all that. The thing is, as life goes on, things only get harder. They only get harder. I was watching something where the Duke women's basketball coach, Carol Lawson, was talking to her team, and she said, hey, we've got to figure out how to do hard better. Things are going to be hard. How you respond to the hard is what's important, because it's not going to get easier. Your kid, whether they're playing rec, whether they're playing Little League, whether they're playing, AAU travel select type of things, as they grow, things are going to get harder. And I don't care, I know we're talking specifically about sports. We talk about piano, we talk about math, we talk about science, all those things. We're adults. We saw, as you get older, guess what? Things get harder. And as you become better at something, guess what? Coaches, teachers, instructors, they see it and they're going to say, I can give you a little bit more and make things harder. That's what you want. You want things to be harder. When they're harder, that's when you develop some really great intangible skills that will help you in the long run in life. Parents, don't get in the way of that. Don't get in the way. As a college administrator, we have so many stories where parents are calling coaches. Sally's not. What's coach doing? Sally's not playing. What the heck? Right? They call the administrators. They call the coach's boss and say, "Hey, why is my child like calling me every day mad that they're not getting any playing time?" What's happening is that some parents are raising kids that are just dependent on them and do not have the ability to speak up for themselves, do not have the ability to go and talk to their coach and say, "Hey coach, what can I do to get better? I want to get on the court." Or, "Coach, what did I do at practice well today? What did I do wrong today? What do I need to improve upon, coach, so that I can be have a stronger impact on the team?" It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I will never talk to the coach about playing time, but I will talk to them about, "Hey, this is help me understand so I can communicate to my child what's going on. I can help them navigate this situation." Right? What are you telling my kid so that I can help reiterate it at home? That's number 2. And number 3, son, daughter, in case my son, you have an opportunity to go talk to your coach about your frustrations, about more playing time or whatever. I'm not going to do it. All right. Well, that's it for the day. Thanks for listening. And as always, may your day be filled with moments of grace, mercy, joy, and love. Bye now.